Hello, it's Kevin here. Time for a video. It's a bit early in the morning, hence my somewhat unkempt appearance, but I'm going to the gym once I've made this. Then I'll be coming back, getting sorted out, ready for my lessons on italki. So you forgive the hair, but now, companion video, as you see, this is my channel. English native. Now, last week, I made this about using AI for OET, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, OET writing. How AI can be a useful tool. So, if you check out that first, this video is like a companion piece to this. So, it's the same student from italki. I made this and I sent it, explained how it kind of worked, and I've sent it other videos and messages as well. But in this one here, in the first one, I was explaining how you need to be very careful because, you know, she was using the Japanese version of chat, right? And it didn't know the criteria, it was missing things out, it was scoring it wrong. It's all there if you care to watch it. Later on, you can find it on my channel. There we go. I'll put a link in the description to this one. So, she sent me a load of stuff on italki. She sent me her original letter. I think it's her original. And she sent me screenshots of chat's corrections. Yeah, that it had been explaining. So take a look at this one. So this is the fully revised Bambi letter that her version of chat said. So let me see if I can get this to work. Yeah, so there's several. Right. So she fed it in, right, and it gave her this. It said improved line by line feedback, corrections, suggestions, and it went through it all, right? Paragraph 2, paragraph 3, you know, it should be this and that, it should be this and that. And anyway, it came up with this. So anyway, you can pause. Hang on, right. So I'll just go through it. So you can pause this. You can read what chat says. Etc. Yeah. Now you'll notice criteria. This is the first thing. Purpose, content, concise, genre. No organization. It's missing one of the criteria. Missing one of the criteria. And the evaluation, it's not giving it a proper scoring. So purpose is scored 0 to 3. All the rest 0 to 7. To get a grade B, you need 2, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. But it doesn't mention the purpose. Organization is missing. So it was one of the criteria is missing. And it doesn't really give you what the scoring was. It just says purpose B, content B. But what does that mean? What is the actual scoring according to the criteria? So some problems there. But if we take a look at this, we can see. Now, what I did, I used my version because I've got the Pro version. So I use chat, I use Copilot. So I put it into Copilot to ask about it. But Copilot got it wrong as well. Misinterpreted it, didn't know the criteria, although it claimed that it did. That missed out organization as a criteria too. So chat, the version which I use, it has a memory. So all the corrections and stuff that I've done over the last 3 months or so, it remembers, right? It knows the 6 criteria, 0 to 3, 0 to 7, and it knows how it sort of works. But even then, you have to know, as I explained, right, in the previous video, you have to know what you're talking about, because it's an iterative process. Now, I used prompt engineering. I set it up. I said, right, I want 3-column format. I want this. It should be, oh, okay. So it remembers that for all the different things. But even then, I had to reprompt iteratively. So we can see here, right, I had to, so I put in the original, right? So I put in this, right? That's the original. Then it's explaining this, and I had to say, I had to tell it her version of chat. It wasn't hers. And I uploaded all the documents, all right? And then how I would rewrite it. But when I pointed it out, some of the things that we wouldn't use, it said, "Oh, you're correct, Kev. You're perfectly right." And and I had to keep coming back. Right? I said, "Here, do we need the headache? Do we need the opening sentence? Short answer, yes, yes, yes. Let's break it down." So it did it again. As you can see, this I've been working on this for maybe 40 minutes now. Right? So I told it, don't do this, don't do that. What about this? Do we need a occupation in the opening line? It says no. Okay. Do we need this? Do we need that? I gave it the case notes, etc. And as you can see, right, and it got this thing wrong about the pain. Now, Yumi probably thought that 5-7 meant scale of pain, but usually for pain we do a scale of 1 to 10. So 5-7 usually means 5 days out of a week. Yeah. So she misinterpreted that, and chat also didn't pick up on it. 5-7, that's not pain. That's 5 days out of 7. If it was pain, it would be out of 10, 5 out of 10, etc. So it didn't pick up on that. Missed the organization, didn't pick up on that. And so as you can see, you need someone who knows what they're talking about. Reprompt, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. So, using AI, as I mentioned in the previous video, it's good for grammar and maybe vocab, but the iterative prompting process, like, I've done OET official training courses, all my experience, I still have to tell it, no, do that, no, that's wrong, no. Yeah. So, what chance does a non-OET specialist have? Simply saying to chat, analyze me this. It'll tell you something, but it's not going to tell you the whole story. So as you can see, it says that was my slip, flawed vision, okay, and it keeps on coming back. Give the case notes, and I said, right, do we need the age? No, we don't need that. Okay, so I'm having to prompt it again. I said the word count of your version is too much short. Okay. I'm coming back. I'm reprompting. So finally, we'll get to the end because I have to be out in a minute. So what I did, 3 columns. I'll make this a bit larger so you can see 3 columns. So in column 1, the student's original version. Column 2, her ChatGPT with the issues in bold. 3rd column, my chat version, overseen and corrected by me with many iterative prompts, as you've seen. So let's have a look at this one. Okay. Now, she put the DOB there. Okay. Chat put the age in the DOB, which you don't need. Okay. 45-year-old medical receptionist. Well, we don't need occupation unless it's directly relevant to the letter. The purpose, it should be immediate. Who is it? What's a chief complaint? What's a chief issue? What do you want me to do about it? That should be in the purpose. So we don't need age because we can count, and if it's in the DOB, we don't need it. So we don't need age. So this is the conciseness and clarity part, right? We don't need the age. We don't need the occupation. So the clean bit. So it says I am referring to you, which we don't need. I am referring, or I'm writing to request because I'm making a request. I want the reader to do something for me. So I'm writing to request your urgent neurological assessment of Mrs. Karen Smith, who has developed blurred double vision with painful movements of the right eye. Instead of this associated with pain on eye movement, recent onset blurred, right? So this is a more concise and precise purpose, okay? We can see that here. Now, if we continue, 5 days a week, yeah. So she put 5 days a week, but her chat version said that it was the pain, but it was a 5-day history. Oops, sorry. So how do you get that back? Yeah, right. So 5-day history. Now that's the usual way that you talk about how much time. So you used to say a 5-day history of pain, a 3-month history of, yeah. So that's better. So you don't need to put that. She reported a 3-day history. No, so you could say presented with, or here reported 3-day history of blurred and double vision with pain, movement, 5-day history of severe bifrontal headache, unlike her usual migraine. Now, we don't need that. Computer office, over a computer office, blurred vision over a computer. So that's not grammatically sound in any case. But here, right, the 3-day history of blurred vision while working at a computer. So did she get the blurred vision? So she's had the 3-day history of blurred vision. So while she's sitting there, or was it caused by working at a computer? So we don't really need that. We don't really need that part at all. And it got this wrong. It thought it was a pain rating, but it was a history. 5 out of 7, 5 days, 5-day history. So we can see, the difference. You can pause this. I'm not going to read it all out word for word, but you can pause it. You can see the difference between original, her chat version, my teacher examiner chat overseen version. All right, you can see the difference between them. And if we carry on down, okay, vital signs were normal, back signs, okay, mine's a little bit more concise, but not really, a little bit wordy. Past medical history, well, history of course is in the past, so we don't need that. History of migraine, depression, instead of for which she takes, treated with. That's more clinical language. Okay. Therefore, we don't need that. We don't use that. Therefore, thus. Okay. Simply, she has history of migraine and depression treated with, instead of for which she takes, which is what her chat version says. Instead of saying, right, non-clinical language, she is on. Chat says for which she takes. Proper clinical language would be treated with. Doesn't smoke, non-smoker, migraine, died from a stroke. Okay, in view of the above, I would appreciate if you could. Okay, isn't bad. Given her symptoms, now, given these acute visual symptoms, I would appreciate your assessment and advice regarding further investigation and management. And these are the case notes. Copyright. I don't think these are official. I think somebody might have copied this and written their own. I'm not sure, but anyway. So this is it here. These are the case notes. Right. Letter of referral. Refer to neurologist or urgent neurological assessment, and then we've got the notes here. Decreased vision over computer office. That's not grammatically correct, so these are probably not official. They've copied it to make it look like official notes, not like migraine. Unable to move, painful movement, what IT? Okay, yeah. So there you go. They're the notes. Okay. So I think you can see what the problem or problems are with using our artificial friends. I use them all the time for all my different things. The podcast on Spotify, the audios, doctor patient, nurse patient. There's a new episode coming today if I get the time. I did two versions now. I did the same medicine speaking role play, female doctor, male patient, and I changed it round, male doctor, female patient. So if you're male or female, if you want to practice pronunciation, etc., you have gendered versions that you can have a listen to. Anyway, that will be coming a bit later. So I hope you can see the problem, the difference. As I said, like if you look at how many prompts I had to go through, all right, just to get this actually done, to get it correct. You see, look at all this lot. I say I've spent about 40 odd minutes, maybe 50 minutes on this now, maybe more, because of making this. So you can use it, but you need to make sure that somebody else who knows what they're doing checks it out afterwards. Okay? If you don't, you could get yourself into a bit of trouble if you rely on your artificial friend just before your examination. Anyway, that's enough for me. I hope that gives you some ideas. Links below, etc. Like, subscribe, or not, as the case may be. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.